Howdy everyone. Today we're taking a look at a wet dry vac from TACKlife Tools, model PVC05B. Now, I'm going to be upfront with everyone. The manufacturer sent this to me free of charge in exchange for an air-quoted honest review. Truth being told, I'm not really a fan of this arrangement because I feel like it's nearly impossible to objectively review something one didn't pay for. That said, I don't really care if I get anything from them in the future, so I'm not exactly on the hook here. As per usual, we'll start with a really quick unboxing, take a look at what's inside, assemble it, and then run it through some tests. In the accessory department, we've got some hose extensions, a couple of flat surface brushes, a combo detail and dust brush, and a little extra plate that is used on the floor tool to switch between carpet and hard surfaces. Installing the wheels is pretty easy and requires no tools, they just press into place. We've also got this little chain that appears to serve no purpose. A quick glance at the operate-oin method manual provides no further guidance. Once turned over, we can see it's a pretty nice looking unit, a brushed stainless steel canister with decently chunky plastic lid clips gives it a premium aesthetic. On the top, we've got the big orange power switch and the interesting exhaust port. I say interesting because it doesn't exhaust unless the hose is attached. Otherwise, a spring-loaded gate directs air out evenly around the sides. It's actually a pretty clever feature. Most accessories snap onto the sides with recesses molded into each of the caster holders. There is, however, no convenient way to store the hose. This seems like a design oversight on TACKlife's part. After assembly, I need to clean my garage, so it seemed like a good time to give the vac a good trial by fire. Overall, first impressions are mixed. The build quality feels adequate, but the unit feels less powerful than similarly spec'd rivals. This is of course all subjective. I don't have any way to actually measure, so it's kind of just my opinion. The hose attaches to the body via a twist lock mechanism. This is both good and bad. Good because the resulting connection is very secure. Tugging it along by the hose is no problem. On the other hand, this proprietary connection means aftermarket hoses will likely not work. As far as noise goes, it does sound subjectively louder than my other wet dry vac, a Dewalt model from Costco. But let's verify that by employing a decibel meter. We're in the ballpark of 87.5 decibels. But how do we know how that number compares to rivals unless we measure them as well? So let's do that. First up is a 3-gallon, 3.5 peak horsepower unit from Rigid. About 84. Considering decibels are on a logarithmic scale, that 3.5 decibel difference is a bit more than one might expect. Next up, my Dyson Ball Animal Plus. About 83. Subjectively, this is near as makes no difference in volume to the Rigid, but noticeably quieter than the TACKlife. Finally, we've got a 10-gallon unit from Dewalt. This unit is bouncing around an even 80 and is subjectively the quietest of the four. Removing the filter is pretty easy. One must turn a retaining knob at the bottom and then slide off. It comes with a pretty interesting Velcro screen that I assume is supposed to work as some sort of pre-filter. At first, I thought it was a really nice touch. However, in my experience, it didn't do much. The larger particles still fell to the bottom of the canister while the fine dust still accumulated. And for what it's worth, that's not really a complaint, as the filter still works exactly as one would expect it to on any other unit. The manufacturer advertises this is a HEPA cartridge. Since there's no evidence to the contrary, and because I have no way to test, we'll go ahead and assume they're correct. Next up, we'll take a look at this product's water pickup ability. To do so, I've added approximately 2 gallons of H2O to this bucket. Let's see how long it will take the TACKlife PVC05B to suck it up. A little over 8 seconds. Running a quick calculation means this will remove about 15 gallons per minute or 900 gallons per hour. That's quicker than most dedicated water pumps. After clearing the bucket of water, I noticed something a little worrying while the vac was still running. It's blowing droplets out of the exhaust. I've never seen this happen on any other wet dry vac. To be honest, it wasn't even that full. When it comes time to dump, TACKlife does not provide a drain. That said, it's only 6 gallons, so turning it over like an old school bucket shouldn't be too much of a chore, at least not near as much as it might if this were a 10 or 14 gallon canister. Moving over to our hose, and I'd like to give you guys a little demo action of its flex relative to what comes on competing units. From back to front, we've got a rigid stock hose, a Dewalt premium hose, a rigid aftermarket premium hose, and the TACKlife stock hose, giving each one a somewhat even push, and we can see that the latter flexes quite a bit more than competitors. Although coming up short in the flex department, it does offer a dual swivel. This is a really nice touch and somewhat mitigates the hose rodeo. The final thing I want to talk about on the topic of hoses is its size. It is a standard 1 1/4 inch, so aftermarket accessories are easy to add. Here, I've got most of an auto detail kit from Workshop Tools on Amazon. If you're looking to upgrade, this is a great start. Associate links are in the description. Use is greatly appreciated. As far as power goes, let's take a look at my clamp meter and see how many amps this unit draws. About 9.95. Considering I have 123 volts at my outlets, we're pulling 1,223 watts or 1.64 horsepower. Far less than the 6 peak advertised would lead one to believe. But the advertised figure is nonsense anyway. Vacuum manufacturers use peak horsepower in literature to make their units sound more powerful than they are. What they're actually advertising is the stall rating of the included motor. For what it's worth, all manufacturers do this. When cleaning up, we've got a single cord hanger on the back, and like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, no place to cleanly store the hose. Overall, I'm not sure this is a particularly competitive product, but that doesn't mean I'm saying it's bad. In fact, it performs all the functions expected of a wet dry vac just fine. The build quality is good enough, the power is good enough, and the accessories are good enough. But for nearly the same money, and with a Costco membership, you could have this, the Dewalt DXV10SA that I reviewed last year and found to be an incredible value. There is, however, one reason to buy from TACKlife, and that is the company itself. I found through this and some of their other products, their customer service to be excellent. I once purchased a multimeter from them which wasn't correctly displaying AC voltage. Without any hassle whatsoever, they sent me a brand new unit. I've received better post-sale support from TACKlife than I have from pretty much any other mainstream US tool brand. And that's about all I had today. If you found any of this useful, a like, sub, or share is appreciated. If not, hit that thumbs down button. Okay, take care.